There's a question hanging over every voice actor right now that's frankly keeping a lot of us up at night. Is AI about to rip my career out from under me? Some areas of voiceover have already been hit really hard. So is this the beginning of the end of human voice acting? No, not by a long shot. But it does mean you're going to have to start shifting your strategy to keep your business thriving. And today I'm going to give you some tips on how to do just that. And I am feeling this pain right alongside you. It's made me have to take a really hard look at my business strategy. It's made me have to make some really scary decisions. And I've had to figure out how to remain viable when, frankly, it feels like the robots are coming for our jobs. Imagine this. One of your major revenue generating clients comes to you and says, "We want to start offering our services to a wider customer base, and that means offering packages at a lower price point. And so we plan to do that by utilizing AI voices going forward." Cue the panic. This happened to me. I was faced with a really hard decision. Either jump on board the AI train with this client and work with them to clone a synthetic version of my voice, or potentially lose thousands of dollars a year in revenue. It was the moment that I had to step back and evaluate the incoming wave of the technology of AI voices and figure out how I wanted to navigate it without compromising my financial stability, but also still protecting the integrity and just the basic commodity of my voice. Here's what we're going to uncover today: what AI can and can't do and why that matters. And we're going to talk about the smart strategies that are going to set you apart in this new era. Because here's what I want you to remember. This is not about panic. It's about pivoting. The fear is real. We are not going to deny that. And it's understandable, and it's okay to be scared about this new era of AI taking over parts of the voiceover industry. And so, okay, we're going to say the hard parts out loud today. And those hard parts are probably going to feel a little uncomfortable to hear because, let's face it, it is uncomfortable for anyone in this industry to stare down the AI movement. We are real people with real careers, frankly, with real bills to pay. You know, a lot has changed in just a couple of years. AI-generated voices have improved really fast. I think faster than anyone maybe predicted, and definitely a lot faster than us in the voiceover industry would have ever wanted them to. We're seeing cloned voices in commercials, in explainer videos, sometimes even audiobooks. There are platforms out there offering clients a whole voice bank of AI avatars, voices that they can just plunk their script into and it spits out something that's pretty acceptable. And the client has to deal with no scheduling, no invoices, no personalities, just plug and play. And the easy jobs, the ones that have scripts that already kind of sound robotic to begin with, well, yeah, AI is taking those. And it's not just the technology, it's really the economic fallout that this tech is creating. Clients are getting voices that are good enough for a fraction of the price that we can't compete with. Because why would an owner of a faceless YouTube channel pay somebody on Fiverr to narrate 10 videos a month for them when YouTube now has an AI tool to generate that voice for free? Why would a producer pay a voice actor $150 to record bland disclaimer information for the beginning and end of a technical corporate video when they can pay $10 or $20 to have an AI voice do it? The truth here is that some of the quote-unquote easy voiceover work out there is going away, and it's probably going to be for good. It's probably not coming back. Add on to that companies out there scraping human voices illegally and unethically off the internet to build AI models without any kind of consent. Add on to that voice actors who are unknowingly signing contracts to do AI work that ultimately allow studios to clone and reuse their voice forever without any further compensation. So yeah, if you've been asking yourself, how do I protect my career? You are not alone. And don't worry, in just a few minutes, I'm going to lay out some action steps that you can take now to protect your career in the coming months and years. But let's first talk about why AI can't replace you if you're smart about it. First and foremost, people still want to work with people. Quality clients don't just want sound. They want adaptability, they want creativity, they want collaboration. AI can't take live direction. AI can't adjust on the fly when the script changes mid-session. AI can't improvise a punchline in character work. AI cannot catch the subtle tone shift that a director is asking for with your delivery. And AI definitely can't build rapport with any members of a creative team that you're working with. But you do, you can, and frankly, you will. Secondly, authenticity cannot be replicated. AI voices can sound pretty passable these days, and okay, they can sound really realistic these days, which is a little frightening. But AI voices are still not at a place that they're going to give you goosebumps. AI voices aren't going to tug on your heartstrings. AI voices aren't going to build trust. Let me give you a real-life example of how this works in a voice actor's favor, something from my experience. A couple of years ago, I received an audition opportunity on a pay-to-play platform for a simple medical device explainer video script. And so I auditioned for it. And the client reached out and said, hey, we actually really like your audition and we'd like to hire you for this job, but I want to give you a bigger scope of what it's about. Well, it turns out that this client, which I can't give you the brand name because I'm under an NDA and a non-disclosure agreement. Let's just say this is a well-known global brand that manufactures technological equipment. In one of their divisions, they had created a series of instructional videos outlining how to set up, operate, and maintain different pieces of their equipment. And so they decided at the time AI voices were really starting to come into the fold, and so they had an AI voice record the narration for it. And so they used those videos for a year or two. But the client told me in this audition that the feedback that they got both internally and from their corporate partners around the world who were using these videos, that the AI voice just simply wasn't cutting it. That the AI voice was almost distracting because it was so obvious that it wasn't human, that it didn't have the nuance that a human's voice has, and frankly, it got a bit monotonous. And with really dry technical information, they needed something that had a bit more life to it. The company wanted to try having a human re-record the voice track to see if it would be better received. And so they hired me to do that. I recorded the voice track. They laid it in over the existing video, sent it out, and within, I'd say, a month or two after that, client got back to me and said, absolutely, this was so much better received. And so we want to go ahead now and re-record all of the voice tracks for all of the videos that we had produced a few years ago with a human replacing AI. AI simply can't match the emotional nuance a human brings. Audiences can hear the difference, and brands know it. And clients, especially the premium ones, also know it. And so remember that. Authenticity cannot be replicated. It is going to be one of the advantages that you have over AI. Third, ethical opportunities in AI do exist for voice actors. So while AI and AI voice can be a little scary, there are ways to kind of meet it head on and join the AI movement in the right way. There are companies who are doing AI partnerships the right way with voice actors, and those things, we're going to talk about them a little more later in the video, but those things include having a voice actor's consent to use their voice with fair pay and with your voice still protected. Some examples are voice actors who are choosing to license AI versions of themselves on vetted platforms to offer a low-cost and easy way for clients to use their voice without hiring them to physically record it. We see union actors now negotiating how and when to use an AI backup of their voice so that the union actor still maintains all control over their commodity, which is your vocal cords. So what I want to do now is walk you through some actions that smart voice actors really should start taking today to stay ahead, because now is the time to start positioning your business to compete with what's coming. It's not about what's already here, but it is about what that means going forward as well. And if you start to implement some of these things now, you're going to breathe a lot easier over the coming weeks, months, and even years ahead. And by the way, if you are a voice actor who wants to stay ahead of the curve, you might like to know that I send out a free weekly newsletter. It's got tips, it's got opportunities, it's got practice exercises, and all sorts of resources to help your voiceover freelancing business thrive. I will leave a link to sign up for that newsletter down in the description. It is totally free and comes out once a week. Okay, so here are the 4 ways voice actors, myself included, are adapting to AI without having to sell their soul. Number 1, expand what you do as a voice actor into AI-resistant work. You're going to start focusing your attention on genres that AI can't touch yet. Emotion-rich storytelling, live-directed sessions. Think about that. If live-directed sessions is not something that you do often with your clients, think about making that a more marketable service that you offer. Because like I said earlier, AI can't participate in a live-directed session. You are giving the client more value by giving them an opportunity to listen in on your recording while you do it so that they can give you direction, they can give you feedback in real time. And so start positioning yourself as someone who welcomes that type of collaboration with the client, giving them the feeling that they are getting more bang for their buck, but also that you're wanting to make sure that they are 1,000% satisfied with the finished product and didn't just get a file from you and thought, well, there's that one sentence that I'd probably like a little different, but I don't want to bother them with that. You're giving them a ton of value by offering live directed sessions. And quite frankly, it's something that you could charge a little bit more for. So it's kind of a win-win. Look into doing more commercials that require that emotional nuance, that real person perspective, those emotions and feelings and just real experience that comes with being a human being that needs to come through in certain types of commercials. Start focusing on audiobooks where performance really matters. And this is where character work is going to start coming in a lot more. Particularly think about things like animation, gaming, mobile apps, anywhere where characters need to come to life. You are going to be better positioned to deliver that product than an AI voice is going to do. Another place you could start expanding your services into is focusing on personalized content. And here I'm talking about anything that involves coaching. Maybe it's someone who is a fitness coach or a nutritional coach or a business coach or a life coach, and they're putting out a series of podcasts or videos or have their own mobile app for people to interact with. That kind of content requires a very person-to-person feeling, a one-on-one, I'm the coach and I'm talking directly to you. AI doesn't have that sort of friendly and warm and welcoming, I'm here for you kind of tone to it, but you do. Speaking of which, I just mentioned podcasts. Podcast intros and outros need to be very personal as well, and it's a great niche to get yourself into. AI can't perform live. It can't deliver emotions in a real way. It can try, and it is trying, but it still isn't quite there. And it certainly can't build human rapport. That is your edge. Strategy number 2 is to build stronger client relationships. And honestly, this might be the most important thing you can do right now, because now more than ever, relationship building is your superpower. AI might be cheaper and faster, but clients come back to voice actors they trust. Voice actors who are responsive, who are collaborative, who are invested in creating the best piece of audio that they can do, and invested in making sure that the client is as happy as they can be. And so when clients know you, they trust you, and they value working with you, they are far less likely to replace you with a robot. So be sure that you're communicating often and communicating well. Be helpful wherever you can, even sometimes unsolicited help if you have an idea that you think might help them with a script. Be someone in general that they enjoy working with. It's not just about your voice anymore. It's really about your presence in their creative process. Give clients value. Go above and beyond. Take the time to follow up with them after jobs. Take the time to send thank you notes. Offer input that shows that you care about their success, that you are working with them as a part of their team. That's what's going to build loyalty, and loyalty equals longevity. And friends, we all need longevity in this industry right now. Number 3, well, lean into the AI wave and get smart about AI licensing. So this is for any of you who are thinking about joining this technology, kind of the if you can't beat them, join them approach. If you are approached about cloning your voice or you're considering doing it yourself, do not sign anything without reading the fine print. You need to fully understand the contract that you are getting yourself into. And really, honestly, when in doubt, because the legalese is going to be pretty thick, talk to an entertainment lawyer. Obviously, I am not a lawyer. I can't advise you on contracts or legal advice about contracts. I'm providing for you here just some things for you to think about when you are considering an AI-related contract, but you need to talk to an expert to be safe if you don't understand it on your own. The things that you want to be looking out for if you're going to get into creating your own AI voice is who owns the model, who owns the voice model of your voice. Can you revoke the license for them to use your voice at any time? Or do they have more control over that? Can the client use your voice forever and ever and ever? Or is there a set time limit? Is there a term limit that then needs to be renegotiated if it gets to the end of that term and they'd like to continue using your voice? Can the client use your voice for anything? Meaning, do you control the content or the language that it's being used for? You're going to want to look at things like compensation. How are you being paid? Are you being paid once? Are you being paid for ongoing royalties? Are you being paid for exclusivity? Are you being paid in an equitable way? There are ethical platforms out there that exist in kind of this frontier that we're in. It's almost like we're kind of like AI voiceover pioneers. We're living through this in real time, going through the stumbling blocks, figuring out, oh, there needs to be protections for this. Oh, there needs to be protections for that. And so it's a little bit of a rough landscape to navigate. But there are some ethical platforms that do exist. 11 Labs has absolutely started doing some good work with voice actors in giving them a place to create a voice model of their own voice and try to do it in a protected way. Voices.com, no matter what you think about them as a pay-to-play site, in the AI voices and AI dataset sphere, they are making a lot of headway in voice datasets that they are really looking to protect their voice talent. I actually recommend heading over. They've had some live webinars lately and a lot of blog posts about how they are trying to set the new standard for being a source for companies to come and get good quality voice data sets for modeling and cloning, but also that they are trying to set the bar on how to protect voice talent who wish to do those things and protect them and compensate them fairly. So I would suggest, if you haven't been over to voices.com, lately, go over there, check out their blog, and just kind of search for AI topics. And there's a lot of information there that you can read about what they're putting out, including some of the things that you need to be safeguarding yourself about. And I mentioned at the top of this video that I was forced to make a very scary decision within the last year and a half or so. And so I decided it was a client that I trusted. It was a client that I valued. And it was a client that I had seen already grow in different ways over the years. And I could see their vision as to what they were trying to achieve. And I felt that it was a good partnership to make in dipping my toe for the first time into creating an AI voice model, a synthetic voice of myself. Whether or not or when to join this AI wave is going to be exceptionally different for each and every voice actor. Some of you may decide to never go down that path, and that is 100% okay. Others of you may have already just dived in head first and are doing everything you can in that realm, and that's fine too. Others of you are probably going to be a little more cautious and maybe kind of do a little bit here, maybe a little bit there, test the waters. It is completely up to you, but it is something that you have to be comfortable with. And my advice is just simply to make sure that every aspect of your voice and your compensation is protected. The fourth thing that you can do moving forward is to consider diversifying your offerings. We talk about here on the channel how you shouldn't put all of your voiceover eggs in one basket in terms of how you go out and get voiceover work. That's diversifying the different options available to you to find voiceover work. But now you should also consider diversifying what kind of services you offer in your freelance voiceover business. Some examples of that would be, have you reached a point in your career that you've got enough experience and maybe you enjoy helping people and working people that you could look into starting to offer coaching services for aspiring or beginner voice actors who need to learn the basic skills of voiceover or who don't quite understand how to get into the industry? You could offer consultation and coaching services. Another thing that voice actors know how to do pretty well is know how to absorb a script, and they can pick out instantaneously if there are things that are problematic with a voiceover script. So you could offer script consulting services where a client can send you their script and say, review this for me and offer any suggestions on how to make it better for voiceover. Because we all know a script can sound really good when you write it, but when you read it out loud, it can sound completely different. Maybe it sounds too stuffy or formal. Maybe it sounds too robotic. Maybe it sounds too boring. Maybe it doesn't have enough personality. So you could consult on scripts, or you could even do complete script writing if writing is your forte as well. You could think about getting into casting help, voice casting. You probably have a pretty good ear by now as to what voices work for which types of voiceover jobs. And so you could start offering your expertise for agencies or producers who cast voice actors. Maybe you have a specialty in voiceover. Maybe there's impressions that you do very well, or maybe there are dialects and accents that you do very well. Maybe you are really adept at dubbing, maybe for animation or for foreign films, that type of thing, that you could turn those things into workshops, a master class or a workshop where you could teach other voice actors who are looking to learn those skills. That's something to think about. In short, the lesson here, this is just the beginning of the possibilities, but in short, the lesson here is don't just be the talent, be the talent plus value. Right now, you need to give your clients all of the possible value that you can. It's not going to be good enough any longer to just get a job, record the audio, clean it up, export it, and send it off. Give them more than what they're bargaining for. Surprise them at every turn. Make them say, wow, they didn't have to do that, but I appreciate that they did. So if we go back to that question that we asked at the beginning, is AI going to replace you as a voice actor? Yes, AI is changing this industry, but I think you've seen from what we've laid out here that it's really not ending it. AI absolutely feels like a threat. If you feel it, you are not alone. But honestly, what it's really doing is just raising the bar for all of us who are seriously in this industry. You now have to bring strategy, creativity, adaptability, and a commitment to your craft every single day. And is that such a bad thing? Isn't that just going to make us all better voice actors, all better business owners? And frankly, isn't it just going to raise the standard of voice acting in general? So yeah, if you're willing to invest in your skills, if you're willing to learn how to market yourself a little differently now, if you're willing to really put the work in on nurturing and building those client relationships, and if you continue to be committed to delivering great audio and knockout performances, well, then the future of voiceover absolutely still has plenty of space for you ahead. So what's your next step? Well, a minute ago, I mentioned that in addition to diversifying the types of services you offer, that I said you also shouldn't put all of your voiceover eggs in one basket, not just pick one pay-to-play platform and hope for the best. And maybe you're saying, okay, well, but how do I do that? Well, if you want real, practical ways to find voiceover work today, even with AI scooping up all of the low-budget gigs, I want you to watch this video right here, where I break down the exact strategies you can use to find the paying work that's still out there right now.